Welcome to the Carriker Chronicles, the People's Show. Check the pulse of Husker Nation. Brought to you by Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a beautiful day. It's a glorious day. It's absolutely phenomenal outside. I do want to apologize. Because I'm going to talk about some things that Scott Frost talked about 6 days ago. A little late getting to it. Normally I'm a little bit more prompt, but we've had some technical difficulties with the Carriker Chronicles studios. I was trying to get it right, trying to get it fixed, but at a certain point I'm like, man, I just want to do a show. So I'm doing it on my phone, but we will have those technical difficulties. I'm very confident, even though I have no idea about technology. I can pretty much check Twitter, Facebook, and email, and that's it. We'll get those fixed soon, but that's why these quotes I'm talking about are from a while ago, but I digress. There's a couple of things that Scott Frost talked about last week. Okay, a couple of interesting things that just stuck out to me a little bit, and I've been meaning to get to it, and I'm doing it now. All right, and these were 6 days ago. Okay, Scott Frost talked to about 90 fans in last Wednesday in Kearney, and he said it was a few thousand fans he was talking to in Columbus in 2018. So it's dwindled just a ginormous smidge. And he noticed this. This was not lost on him. He said, and I quote, "It tells me I better start winning," end quote. Scott Frost. Now, I don't think that's going to shock anybody. I think everyone pretty much knows this is a ginormous season for the Huskers, for Scott Frost, for his staff. That's not the main quote I want to talk about, but it just kind of stood out to me as like, yeah, that would be correct. But he talked about something else. And I feel like this has been glossed over and overlooked a little bit. And maybe I know what it's like to be on both sides of the mic. I know what it's like to be on that side of a mic as a player and being scrutinized and being watched and loved and hated for things you do or don't do, things you say or don't say. And I know what it's like to be on this side, per se, the one who's now scrutinizing said things. So maybe it doesn't stick out as much to other people as it does to me because of my previous experiences. But he also talked about how what he said regarding the Big Ten wanting to play, or Nebraska wanting to play football last fall. You know, the whole COVID thing, we weren't going to play, we wanted to play, everybody hated us for it. Scott Frost stood strong and he stood tall. He said basically what they said was right. Maybe he just wouldn't have said it that way or been so strong or forceful with it. And that stood out to me because I know what it's like, again, to be on both sides of the mic. So to me, that kind of resonated. Now, here's why it stands out to me. Number one, he has, I mean, if I'm being honest, he's hard to watch sometimes in his press conferences. He is. If I could give him one ginormous piece of advice outside of win, it would be get a PR guy. Like, I feel like there's been as much damage done from him behind that mic as just about anywhere else except the win-loss column. Get a PR guy because that would help a lot, if I'm being honest. But I loved what he did last fall. Talking about, we want to play. We're here to play. Now, I know what happened with the bowl game, and I know, some of the other things that happened later on down the road with the Oklahoma game. We're not going to address that here and now. It's in the, we're going to leave that alone. But I loved not only what he said, I loved how he said it, and I think people rallied around him for it. And I think he frankly may have bought himself a little bit of time with that, although I'm still going to stick with they need to give him at least 5 seasons no matter what happens, because it will affect one day if we do need to hire another coach. At least we can say we gave him 5 seasons. But that's another show. All these other show topics being thrown in here randomly, I apologize. But when you're the one being scrutinized for what you say, it is a lot harder than when you're like, oh, stand tall, stand strong. You gotta stand by what you say, stand by your beliefs. My wife, phenomenal person, obviously, highly intelligent, married me. She used to give me crap because when Twitter first started, if I got a negative comment or response on something, it would ruin my entire day. Just one. Now it don't faze me at all. I don't care. Obviously, I like positive things, but if it's negative, so be it. But especially when I was in college, and it was called The Facebook just came out, it would ruin my whole day. She used to laugh at me. She put out a post about 4 years ago, and I'm not going to talk about what the post was. Wasn't even that controversial, but I knew it would be around people she knew, and she showed it to me, and I said, "Are you sure? Because you're going to lose some friends over this." And she said, "Yeah." And I said, "You've given me crap, but you've never actually experienced what it's like to receive backlash for a post. Are you sure?" And she put it out, and she got the backlash, and there's some friends she's known since kindergarten she hadn't talked to. They got very mad at her. And again, I'm not going to talk about what it is. You can probably figure it out on your own, as polarizing as the world is today. It was very different for her. She no longer found it funny to make fun of me when things bothered me online. And again, things don't bother me anymore. I move on about my day, and if I block you, it's your problem, not mine. But my point is, It's easy for me to sit here and say, hey, Scott Frost, stick to your gun, stand strong. But I have been on that other side, and I love that. So my point is, if you feel strong, you don't have to comment on everything under God's hot sun, but if you feel that strongly about something, I felt like it was awesome. Now, there are some other things. Let's get a PR guy, huh? But I hope that makes sense. I hope you're picking up what I'm putting down. I hope you're smelling what I'm cooking, and I hope you're having a phenomenal day. Go Big Red, and always remember, throw the ball.
Thanks again to our sponsor, Nebraska Spine Hospital. Ladies and gentlemen, when it's your spine, you do not want to mess around, and experience matters. That's why you can trust the experts at Nebraska Spine Hospital, the region's only spine-specific hospital. They are the best at what they do.